So
I have a listing going live today that somebody texted me at 1:30 in the morning because they drove by.
Oh my
and wanted
gosh.
information.
at 1:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I hope you were sleeping.
Yeah, I was.
Because if you start answering text at 1:30 in the morning, people understand that you're up at 1:30 in the morning, then they start expecting that. So
No.
I have started not answering, and I usually start my day about 7:30. And I have a weird schedule just because we can. So I'll get up, check my emails, get everything rolling, and then I'll usually take a break between, if you guys ever try and reach me between 8 and 9 in the morning, I usually go work out. And then when I'm getting ready, I continue on with my texts and emails and everything. But the same thing with showing time. Showing time will not send you texts for your showing until 8 o'clock in the morning. And I just learned this because I had an agent reach out to me at 7:30 in the morning and said, well, you know, I requested last night, and I looked, it was late last night, a showing and nobody's responded. Well, they don't come through until 8 o'clock in the morning with showing time. So at like 8:01, all of a sudden you'll get 3 requests. It's because they hold them overnight, which is really nice.
So is there like a time that it stops?
There is, and I don't know what time. She texted it after 10 o'clock, so it must be, I think it was like 10:39 because I went and I looked back in the log. So showing time must hold showing requests from 10 at night until 8 in the morning.
I didn't know that.
Wow. Yeah, because I had an agent call me and she said, well, last night I requested, nobody's responded. And it was 7:30 in the morning. Well, you know, they have to go to work and they have to know. I'm like, I never got it. So as I was dialing showing time to see what was going on, all of a sudden I got 4 showing requests at 8:01.
Wow.
So I'm just going to assume that it's at 8 o'clock because I've had it happen numerous days now.
Huh. I like that because they shouldn't be, I mean, who wants to get their phone blown up at 10:30 at night?
Well, Laura said she got a text from a buyer off of her new listing going live at 1:30 in the morning. They wanted information.
Yikes. Hey. Yeah.
So coming back on inspections really quick, Bethany said she had a great inspection, went really, really good. So I have a flip house on the market and it needs work. It needs like $100,000 worth of work. And I have in there HGTV Flipper's Dream. I have it advertised. I've had, 40 showings and it's rough, but at market value, when it's done, we have it priced 100,000 under. Okay. So it's good. I have somebody who has an offer on it. We accepted it. She still wanted an inspection. I said, I'm telling you, look at the real estate, the record, the real estate condition report. I said, look at all the explanations. I said, there's a lot wrong. We know, but just for our well-being, we still want an inspection. So I didn't put anywhere that we had the accepted offer because it's not going to fly. And this girl is not a flipper or an investor. I thought it was going right down the tubes. They had the inspection on Tuesday. So I called the agent and go, well, how did it go? She says, actually, they found a lot wrong, but nothing that she didn't expect. So we're going through.
Wow.
The last thing I expected that agent to say. So myself, I had it back on the market. Okay, never really took it off the market because I knew it was not going to go through.
Right.
I was super surprisingly wrong. There is no way from here to China, I would have thought that lady would go through with this, but they are.
So you're selling it as is, right?
As is.
So you can have an inspection, but then is there any expectation for your sellers to have to fix anything if you're selling it as is?
Okay, so did you guys hear that?
No.
So the question is, it's being sold as is. Is there any expectation, because the buyer did request an inspection, is there any expectation for the seller to fix anything after inspection?
No.
So it's really just like an information piece for the buyer.
Correct. It's an informational piece for the buyer because they still want to know what's wrong. And I am telling you, it's 1890s basement. So it's fieldstone. It leaks. The furnace is 30 years old. The air conditioning is 30 years old. There's asbestos siding. The linoleum in the kitchen is worn right down to the subfloor. The cabinets, doors are falling off. I mean,
Plumbing.
yeah, plumbing. I think there's some knob and tube wiring.
There is knob and tube.
Yeah, Bethany held it open for me, but it's a great, for somebody who wants a project. Wow.
And they still can ask for things on inspection, but it doesn't necessarily mean the seller is going to do anything.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, you
Interesting.
never know.
So
Christine and talk
I have
all
a
the time that
question.
Every deal is different. Have you had 2 deals the same yet? Okay, I've had like 2 really, really easy ones that I forgot we were even closing, but that was only 2.
Yeah.
Okay, Bethany, question?
So if you have that kind of as is property, and you're writing up the offer, it's as is, and they're probably not going to fix anything. What do you do with that right to cure?
You can put whatever you want.
I mean,
usually
I
put the
had
seller
it
does
as
not-
is.
does
Yeah,
not
I
put
still
it
did
in.
I did a right to cure on it as is, supposedly as is property, and it was a VA loan, and there were some things that weren't going to fly, and they still went and did things just because they wanted it to go through.
The option
But
is
it doesn't mean
always
they
there.
will.
Correct.
Yeah.
I had my first deal fall apart last week because of the inspection, so that really sucked.
Oh,
There was
darn it.
mold, and we did our inspection amendment and they just said, nope, we're not going to do anything on this list. Absolutely nothing. And I was very confused because I didn't know what to do.
How to handle it.
You had a
Did you
very
give them the right to cure or not?
Yes, I
Jackie?
did.
Okay.
You had a very uncooperative co-broke.
Yeah, he was on vacation in the mountains for a whole month
Yeah.
and would not respond in any means of communication and had no one helping coordinate his transactions while he was gone. So he clearly
Yeah.
did not give a shit.
He didn't, and that's unfortunate. And you knew that from the very beginning, which kind of leads us into the top 20 mistakes made by new agents.
Thanks.
And this isn't a mistake that you made, but it's
Take it
about
for the team,
inspection.
Jackie.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. It's about the inspection report. So when you are writing up that amendment, which I know you did not do this, but this is something that we've talked about a lot, is do not reference the inspection report page numbers in your amendment. This often prompts underwriters to ask for the inspection report, which then allows them to request all kinds of possibly bank repairs. So never hand that over, don't reference it, and tell your buyers not to volunteer it, because that can kill a deal. It's
Janine,
not like
can I-
we're hiding anything.
Janine, can I ask, so my seller's having an inspection done today,
Mhm.
and I'm hoping, I don't know, with it raining, does that make it more gentle? Because I can't imagine the inspector on the roof in the pouring rain, but I know
Yep.
they go up there, but I'm wondering if it'll be quicker than usual. No? Okay, so I think I am dealing with another new agent like myself.
Okay.
And if she were to reference the inspection report for anything, would I then ask her to go back and amend her amendment and take it out?
Yeah, I haven't.
Or is it
seen-
too late?
I would hope that she wouldn't do it. I haven't seen the only time I've actually seen someone do it was, it was another Keller Williams agent. And I was shocked because that agent was extremely seasoned. And I literally asked that agent to redo that inspection amendment. First of all it was is referring to pages and didn't even really reference the work being done. So I just said, you know what, to make everything really clear, can you please redo it and not specify the page numbers or anything? So I doubt that you'll see it because I really haven't seen it in a long time, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. And you could say, you know, I'm just afraid this will prompt the underwriting department to ask for it. But I doubt you'll get that. I
Okay.
hardly see it.
So,
Started though, we did reference the inspection with the page numbers, with everything,
We used to, yeah, not anymore.
but not anymore. And underwriting is, they're sticklers.
It's the
And you
best-
can call like the agent and be like, you can discuss things. I mean, I did that last week with mine. It was a VA loan that we accepted an offer on my listing, and it was a VA loan. And I was worried if like we were countering the inspection amendment, that would worry like the whole VA loan part of it. And so I kind of just like talked things through with the other agent, and then she kind of just wrote it up and we just accepted it.
yeah, that's what I did too.
That's
Oh, okay.
perfect. As much as you can get done verbally and then put it on paper is the best.
Okay.
Yeah, I love doing that because then it just takes a lot of back and forth and drama out of the whole transaction if you can do it that way. But sometimes you're going to encourage that co-broke, put it on paper and send it over, because if we keep talking about it, somehow something might get lost in translation and we're never going to get this done. So put it on paper, and you know, but you can kind of read the situation. Number 2, make sure you are communicating all dollar amount changes to the correct people, lenders, title companies, your transaction coordinator. Anything that needs to be reflected on the closing statement needs to be communicated to everyone in the transaction with enough time to allow for revisions. So let's say you are negotiating a home inspection amendment and you decide to give the buyers $2,000 towards closing costs and prepaids. Make sure that everyone is aware of that, because if they're not, their closing statement's going to be off. So you have to send all of that information out to the lender. How is the lender going to know? Hopefully you'll, the title company, everyone involved, your coordinator, let everybody know, because this has happened. Or a referral.
Yeah.
If someone sent a referral over to you, you make sure that referral paperwork is all in, because it is going to delay your closing if it is not done correctly. And no one wants to end a transaction that way. This is a good one. Do not try to explain home warranty coverages in detail to your clients. Home warranty coverage is so nuanced and you are not a specialist. Give them the brochure and have them call the company with their specific questions. Otherwise, you become liable for misinformation you give them. I see this happening all the time. Yeah, don't worry. You know what? If that furnace breaks, you'll get a new one. Not necessarily. So be super careful. I always say, call the warranty company. This is what they're offering. You are not a home warranty specialist. Stay out of it.
Yeah. And we have home warranty brochures. Ours are downstairs. You guys know that you have a mail envelope down there, right? Yeah, I never check mine either. Whoops. Yep, I can show you. So downstairs next to the copier, there's a cabinet. On top of that cabinet, we have all the warranty information if you need more, because I give the warranty brochure to my buyers or send it over to the buyers of my listings. And also in that first drawer, there's a little pocket, mail pocket for you if you get anything mailed here to you. Okay. But yeah, definitely give them the brochure. On the back of all the brochures, or actually with the new company that we're using on the inside, it lists everything that's covered, but have them call the warranty company, because there's always weird. I mean, I've had whole furnaces replaced. I've had ceilings replaced because of water leaking and plumbing and blah, blah, blah. And then I had one that they weren't going to replace. I don't know, something stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's same. I just remember someone misunderstanding the home warranty and something was not covered. And the first person they're going to call, if you start getting involved in the explanation of these warranties is you. And they're going to be mad at you. So I am really clear, like, guys, call the home warranty company and get your explanation, because that's not it's really not my specialty. Double check your contingency deadlines after long negotiation periods. So if you're extending your home inspection by a week or something, 10 days, make sure that everything else is going to be still rolling along on time, because if you extend it out, sometimes your appraisal and loan commitment date might have to be extended. So watch that, right, Connie?
I have had this happen. Sometimes you're negotiating for a week or 2 weeks back and forth. I mean, I had one property, we went back and forth 8 times. So, and
Wow.
it had to go through the attorney every time. So we literally negotiated for 3 weeks. Well, at the end of that 3 weeks, and we had a 60-day close and a 45-day loan and appraisal commitment. Well, after the 3 weeks, my loan commitment and my appraisal commitment were beyond the closing date because we negotiated for so long. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, wait, I have to do another amendment. And the listing agent was like, no, why aren't we done? I said, well, now my appraisal and my loan commitment are after our closing date. He's like, do we have to? I said, just sign the damn thing. We're done, get it done. I mean, we went back and forth with these, and because it was a trust and it was 3 80-year-old sisters, one lived in Arizona, one lived in Texas, and it was the family land. It had to go to the attorney every single time. So every counteroffer took 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
So, yeah. So this one is really, really important when you're in your negotiations. And if you have extensions, make sure that you don't extend it beyond your closing date, because keep in mind, in order to get your closing statement, your closing document, sometimes they call it a CD. Your CD has to come out by state law 3 days prior to closing. So your loan commitment and your appraisal should always be at least 3 days. I like to do 5 days before closing.
Yeah.
Janine?
Yep.
Yeah, so make sure that your loan commitment and appraisal commitment are 5 days prior to closing, because that has to be done in order to get that CD out by state law 3 days prior. Because if that doesn't come out 3 days prior, you can't close. So that's another deadline to watch.
Keep all of your paperwork compliant and in order. Get all your signatures and initials required right away, so you're not scrambling to obtain them later on. So true. Nothing more embarrassing than you're a couple days before closing and you get something sent back from Kimmy and you're scrambling to get initials and signatures. It just doesn't, it's not professional. So if you need something, get it right away, keep on top of it, make sure you get those signatures and initials done way ahead of time, because I mean, honestly, you're kind of out of contract if you don't have it. So.
Well, and in the same token with this one, make sure that you upload the correct document, because I have many times uploaded the amendment with the seller signature instead of the seller and the buyer, so it was not a fully executed document. You have to have both parties sign, and I just uploaded the wrong one. So now what I do is when I get that one, I just replace it in my computer so I don't have to reopen them all and figure it out, because you'll have your blank one, you'll have your one with your buyer and your one with your seller.
Yeah.
And it's just not the fully executed document, and I've uploaded the wrong one many times. Kimmy's like, can I have a fully executed document? I'm like, oh yeah, again. And I know better, but I put the wrong one in.
Yeah.
So try and keep it as straight as you can.
It just saves a lot of headache. Do not list personal property in the inclusions of your offer. Lenders will always ask you amend the offer, removing those things so their underwriter doesn't flag it later. Use a bill of sale if personal property is left for the buyers, and specify whether the items are being paid for or left at no monetary value. So I just had a situation where included in the purchase price was the piano and dining room table. I left them in and I told the buyers this will be thrown out by the lender. But we were in competition and I didn't want to confuse everything. So I said, we're going to put them in there, but they will be removed via an amendment once we get this accepted offer and get things rolling. So you can do it that way too, but don't include things that you want that aren't included. Like, oh, let's ask for the couch. And no, do not put that in your offer. I only put it in if it's already included in inclusions, knowing that we're going to have to take it out. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to you guys?
Like, give an example. The pool table, they want that pool table. It was not included and they want you to write that in the offer. Don't do it. Write it in. First of all, don't do it. Use that as negotiation after. But don't put it in the offer because it will be kicked out.
Well, and the reason why it's kicked out is because lenders cannot lend on personal property. They can only lend on the structure of the house itself, which includes one appliance per, so like one refrigerator, one stove. So if people have a double kitchen, like one upstairs and one downstairs, it doesn't include that second refrigerator. They'll usually have you put that on a separate bill of sale because they don't want you lending on a mortgage for personal property. And that's the reason why they kick that out and have you do a separate bill of sale. But everything afterwards is negotiable on a separate bill of sale.
Like that pool table example.
Yep,
Let's say it was included.
yep.
So why, if you can't put those inclusions in, then why do they put them in?
Yep. So the question is, like the pool table, if it wasn't included, why do they put that in there? Because the seller doesn't want it and they don't want to move it out of their basement. And it's usually a piano. Pool tables are really, really common.
Yeah.
So they are included, but because of the lender's underwriting, they cannot lend monies for personal property. And it is listed as such. They can only lend on the structure itself.
And that's a really good question, because if you see something that is included, you know the sellers want to get rid of it. And if you take it out and somebody else kept it in, they're probably going to go with the one that kept it in over a stupid pool table. So
Yes, so a bill of sale, you'll write up, and it is a separate document. A bill of sale that is included for, you can put a price on it. Otherwise, on the bottom, you're going to put all items have no monetary value. And that verbiage has to be in there because that goes in with the paperwork. The lender sees it that, oh yeah, they're leaving those items and they are paying for it or they're not paying for it. Good questions.
yeah, very good questions.
Would this,
Yep. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
would this include things like, one of my inclusions on my, that I had was, the wood, the firewood in the backyard? Is that fine?
Yeah, I've seen that too. Because I've had sellers include that in inclusions because they're like, we're not taking that firewood.
Right.
Or and I've had buyers write it in because they want that firewood. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yep.
But it's
So a
okay to have
simple-
that kind of an inclusion in the,
Yes, yes, I would include it if it was included in the inclusion. If it was an inclusion in the listing and you're writing it, write it out. You'll probably have to take it out. And if it's not included, I would probably call that listing agent and have that discussion. They're keeping the firewood. Are you the listing agent?
yeah.
Then I
So
would.
he didn't want to move the wood, and they wrote it in their offer to purchase. I'm just wondering if I
Yep.
have to.
No, you don't have to do
Fine.
anything. It's their lender will either take it out and put it in a bill of sale. You don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
Every
Yeah.
lender is different. I've had some lenders leave everything in.
Yeah,
And then I've had other lenders say, oh, you have 2 refrigerators included And a wine refrigerator is not a part of what we can lend on. So you have to put the wine refrigerator on a
What?
separate bill of sale. Yeah.
I have never heard that. What? See, you
Because
guys?
one refrigerator, one stove is included, and they had 2 kitchens. So I had to do a separate bill of sale on the second refrigerator, the wine refrigerator, the second stove. So all of those second appliances had to be, and only once though.
I have never heard that.
Yeah, it was weird. Swing sets are a big one too.
Yes.
Play sets, swing sets, included, not included. I've never had to do that on a separate bill of sale though.
No. And really be careful, you guys, because there are some sneaky agents where the play set is not included. The sellers want to take their play set. You need to watch those offers coming in, because some agents will write in the play set as an inclusion. And if you miss it and your seller sign it, they just lost their swing set. So sad. So really, I always like take it from MLS and really go over and I highlight to make sure everything matches up. I've had agents that had included the washer and dryer in their listing, and guess what? The sellers took them.
Yep.
And the buyer's agent comes in through the final walkthrough and calls and says, "Where's the washer and dryer?"
Yep.
And oh, seller actually sold them. Well, guess what? Seller needs to replace them.
Yep.
It can be a mess. So another thing on that, when you do the final walkthrough, don't do it the day before, because I'm right in the middle of a major disaster right now that the buyers pushed up closing a day. They walked through yesterday and I got a call at 10:30 at night, just as I was ready to go night night. And it's a kind of a shit show right now of things that were, so don't wait until the last minute to do your walkthrough, because it will be a major migraine. Do it 3 days prior, at least, if you can. 3 days is always good. Keep up to date with the paperwork that's required. So this one says we no longer need to do addendum Ds, which you guys don't even know what that is. And don't give yourself more work than you already have. So what was something that was required and now is not? Does anyone know?
Addendum E, the electronic. I had one come through the other day. I'm like, what is this?
Yes. Also the
It was an old Clear West agent. He sent over an addendum E, which is an electronic that you can sign electronically.
Yes. There is another, the FERPTA is no longer needed. We used to, that was like a big thing, and we had to get it wet signed and take it right to the title company. That is no longer necessary. So keep up on the training and what you need and what you don't need, because it saves a lot of confusion. Number 8, this is a big one too, especially out where you are, Connie, about the water softener.
Yep.
Make sure that you find out from your seller if they're renting it or if they own it. Do you see a lot of rented water softeners?
I would say 50%.
Had no idea.
Yep, I would say 50% are rented. And it'll say right on the listing, water softener is rented. So then you're going to put in your offer to purchase in exclusions, water softener is rented. And then you will get the information from Guthrie and Fry that it is, they'll give you that information that it is rented. The nice thing about it, because we have in certain areas, we have such hard water out here, those water softeners need to be replaced, and iron filters, and they're expensive. So a water filtration system with the iron filter and everything, it can run a good $1,000. So you can rent them or you can buy them, but they get corroded depending on how hard your water is. And if you're renting them, they just replace them every 5 to 7 years. So there's that.
Yeah, you don't want to buy a water softener.
Yeah.
This is a good one too. Keep on top of your buyers and whether or not they've changed lenders halfway through. Everyone in the transaction will need to know who the new lender is. This happens. They're shopping around. You have a pre-approval. All is going well, and oh my gosh, the buyers forget to tell you they're not going with that lender. They're going with someone else.
My brother used somebody else and he's giving me a better rate.
Yeah.
When are you going to tell me?
Yeah. Yeah. This happened to me, and it was 2 weeks before closing, and we can't get any information from this lender. We're like, what the heck is going on? Our transaction coordinator. Come to find out, they walked from that lender and called the new lender, but they never started the process.
Oh,
They never did anything. So they're 2 weeks out and we are scrambling. Just tell your buyers, hey, you guys, if you change your lenders, you need to let me know. So then, we can keep on top of everything and communicate. Don't assume your buyers know where to send the earnest money. Give them instructions on this right after the offer is accepted. So a lot of times now this can be done electronically. I love that. There's no checks written.
we've been using trust funds for everything. It's
Yeah.
really- They go online and do a transfer, kind of like a Venmo transfer, but it's through trust funds. And it's right on MLS. On the top, there's a little tab for trust funds. All they have to do is click on that and it does it like magic.
It's brilliant.
So I have a question. I'm sure everything's okay, but, we had binding acceptance Sunday. The buyers were supposed to send their earnest money within 24 hours. And I just got a notification this morning, which is Thursday, that,
I gotta go.
the name and the number didn't match up. And so how does that work?